everybody, I'm Nikki. I live for DIY projects, gardening, cooking, and just being my unique self.
It's time to party, baby.
Meanwhile, my husband and I are raising our daughter and son, both with special needs. And we can't forget to add Delta and Nala, our German shepherds, to the mix of shenanigans. Yes, it's a lot, but I love it. I love them, so it's all worth it. Welcome to my channel, The Everyday Life of an OCDish Chick.
It also releases nitrogen into the ground, so it's almost like a fertilizer boost for many of the plant communities here. So by bringing fire back to this mountainside, you're going to make the entire forest healthier and more resilient.
In the last century, fire has been looked at as something to prevent, to avoid death and destruction of property. But without fire, flammable materials build up, and when the weather gets hot and dry, they create a much larger problem.
Now when we do have a wildfire, they can be catastrophic. They're hotter and more intense than they should be. So by doing these controlled burns under very careful weather parameters, we can have the benefits of the fire, a light burn that will burn up these fuels, the leaves and the grasses and the branches, but not too hot so as to damage the fire-adapted plant communities.
It begins with a burn plan that lays out the exact circumstances that must be met to ensure the fire can be contained. A test fire gets things going.
Safety is the biggest issue when you're like fire.
Gabe will first have to inspect the test fire to make sure the weather prescription of air temperature, wind speed and direction, and humidity are at the right levels to begin the main burn. It's got to be just right, and so far conditions seem ideal.
This is generally what you'll see in hardwood litter, is very low flame lengths, slow creeping fire. We're also looking to see that the smoke is going up and dispersing versus laying down on the ground. And we are seeing that here.
Gabe gives the okay for the bigger burn, starting the natural process of fire and rebirth.
We know that we're helping out the plants and animals here. We get to all work together outdoors. It's just a great feeling.
But for those who don't know what's going on, the sight of smoke on the mountains can be alarming.
We'll have a little table set up where people can safely observe the burn. And while they're there, they can learn about the importance of fire ecology and all the benefits of returning fire to the landscape.
Over the course of the day, the controlled burn works its healing powers on 60 acres of the preserve.
The fire went well. It carried really nicely through the oak litter, and we had no issues today.
Now for the most crucial part of the process, ensuring these creeping flames are safely extinguished.
Now we'll put it into what we call patrol status, so we'll be patrolling it on a regular basis until it's completely out.
I'm going to be looking for areas that are still smoking, still smoldering. When I come back up, those are the areas I'm going to focus on. We want to get that cleaned up about 20 to 30 feet in, just so we don't have a hazard of overnight of the fire escaping outside of the burn area. We want to get that what we call mopped up. So right here we've got some smoldering at the base of this tree. We're going to want to make sure we come back later on and check that area. We're going to dig up the leaf litter, dig up the duff around that area, wet it down, cool it down until we feel safe of leaving that area. This is the most important part, because if you don't mop up well, if something should happen and for some reason the control line should fail, or like this snag would fall and go across your line, then you could potentially be into a wildfire situation.
One species that demands this long overdue fire is a gnarled native conifer known as the Table Mountain pine. Flames coax open its cones, allowing seeds to escape.
Here's a Table Mountain pine cone. It has these sharp points on it. So the fire actually provides a good seed bed, and in fact, you can see right here, there's a Table Mountain pine cone. So we expect to see Table Mountain pine regeneration on this hillside from the burn.
In just 7 months, there are some dramatic changes.
So there really are Table Mountain pine seedlings coming up directly under the Table Mountain pine. We've got pine cones that have opened up and 2 pine seedlings, which is exactly what we were hoping to get. And it's really exciting to see how quickly they return on their own when all we've done is brought fire back. I'm admiring the effects of this control burn and how good it looks on our burn side. Right on the fire line, you can see how on the unburned side, you still have a lot of leaf litter and a lot of downed trees and branches. And on the burned side, you see this flush of regrowth. There's green, there's a diversity of different plants coming in.
And with diversity comes a healthier and hardier forest, one that will be better adapted to the more extreme conditions that climate change will bring.
We expect to see longer periods of severe drought. By bringing fire back into the landscape, we're encouraging the fire-adapted trees and species to come back and to thrive. And those fire-adapted species are also much more drought resilient. They have long tap roots and they're well insulated by thick bark. The entire landscape will be more resilient and less susceptible to diseases and other stressors that come with those droughts.
Returning fire to this rugged landscape is proof not only that the forest can take the heat, but that it is stronger for it.
If you enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel. Find something you love and have fun doing it. Thanks for watching.